welcome to my channel. I'm Casey and today we're going to take a basic Madeleine recipe and create different flavors to make a fun variety of cookies. First I'm going to make my favorite, the simple honey lemon Madeleine. This recipe calls for 3 tablespoons of unsalted butter, 4 tablespoons of honey, 2 eggs, 3/4 cup of whole wheat pastry flour, 1 teaspoon of baking powder, 1 pinch of salt, and 1 teaspoon of lemon zest. So I preheated my oven to 350 degrees Fahrenheit, and the first thing I did with the ingredients was I microwaved the butter in 15-second intervals until it was just barely melted, and I set it aside to cool while I did the rest of the work. I put the eggs and the honey in the mixer and I just let it go. I started on low and then built it up to the highest speed so that it wouldn't throw egg all over. And then I whisked it for about 5-6 minutes until it was really airy. Next, in a separate bowl, I whisked together my dry ingredients until well blended, which is the flour, baking powder, salt, and lemon zest. And then I just very gently folded in the airy egg mixture with a spatula, just nice and slow. I fast forwarded it here for the sake of time, but yeah, just fold it in nice and slow so that the eggs keep some of their air. Just before the flour is fully incorporated, I go ahead and add my butter and start folding that in. It will lose a little bit of volume because of the fat of the butter, but it's totally fine because of the baking powder. It'll puff back up in the oven. A proper Madeleine recipe will say to put it in the refrigerator at this point for about 20 minutes, but I never do that because I'm a very impatient person. I also struggle with always overfilling my Madeleine trays, so I never have enough for the last 2. We'll pretend like that didn't happen. Let them cool for a moment, and once you can handle them, go ahead and flip them over onto a cooling rack. And I like to dust them with powdered sugar. And to do that, I like to use an IKEA tea strainer. They are super handy and it's fun. Next we have an orange dark chocolate Madeleine, and it is the exact same recipe except take out the lemon and swap it for orange, and then at the end we coat it with chocolate. I just wanted to show you that I did a much better job with the orange Madeleines. Look how even. Lovely. Once the orange Madeleines are cool, I broke up a few pieces of dark chocolate. I use 88% dark with this recipe. I like it a lot. And I just melted it in the microwave in 30-second intervals and then dipped the cookie in it and put it on parchment paper. Next we have our gingerbread Madeleine. And so for the flavors here, it's molasses, cinnamon, ginger, cloves, and nutmeg with our basic Madeleine recipe. So I swapped 1 of the tablespoons of honey for 1 tablespoon of molasses. So it is 3 tablespoons of honey, 1 tablespoon of molasses, and 2 eggs going into the mixer. And then I just let that go. It takes a little bit longer, I think, with the molasses. Maybe it's my imagination. But I let it go for about 7 minutes. And then we mix our dry ingredients together. And this one, because of the nutmeg, cloves, ginger, and cinnamon, I do whisk it together pretty thoroughly because I don't want to find a clump of nutmeg in one of the cookies. It does tend to clump, but it's so good. So I whisk this together and then I fold in my egg mixture just like with the other recipes. And at the end, I add extra powdered sugar because it's gingerbread. I just really like to use my Madeleine pan, so I love to make these bacon, egg, and cheese Madeleines. I think they're really yummy. 3 tablespoons of unsalted butter, 1 teaspoon of onion powder, half a teaspoon of garlic powder, 1 teaspoon of parsley, a 1/4 teaspoon of paprika or more, 1 teaspoon of baking powder, 3 eggs instead of 2, 1/3 of a cup of whole wheat pastry flour, salt and pepper to taste, 2 strips of bacon chopped up and placed on the bottom of the Madeleine pan, and I just pour the batter right over the bacon. I put about half the batter in, place a little bit of cheese, and then put the rest of the batter in. Hopefully the cheese doesn't leak out. This time it did. Usually it doesn't. I think I cut my cheese a little bit too large. But yeah, it's really good anyway. It is a nice, fun way to eat bacon and eggs. I tend to check on my Madeleines often after the 7-minute mark because depending on how full I've filled the pan or, what day of the week it is, they cook faster or slower, but they're really easy to make and I hope you enjoy them.
For a savory dessert.